Do you ever feel like you're hitting a wall again and again? As if the harder you push, the more life pushes back. That familiar sensation of being stuck, rigid, unable to find a way through the challenges that loom before you. It's a draining experience, leaving you feeling frustrated and perhaps even a little broken by the sheer effort of resistance. This feeling is a signal, a call to explore a different kind of strength. We often equate strength with force, with unyielding resolve. But what if true power, the kind that makes you genuinely unstoppable, lies not in rigidity, but in its opposite? Imagine a strength that doesn't break but flows, a power that doesn't conquer by overwhelming but by adapting. This is the essence of a timeless wisdom, one that finds its greatest metaphor in the simplest of elements. Over 2 millennia ago, the sage Lao Tzu, a profound observer of nature and human existence, offered a path to this different kind of strength. He looked to water, not to its raging fury in a storm, but to its constant, humble, and pervasive nature. He saw in water an incredible model for how to navigate the complexities of life and become truly effective, even unstoppable. Be like water, he advised. A simple phrase, yet it holds a universe of meaning. What does it mean to be like water? It starts with understanding its fundamental yielding nature. Water, in its softness, does not resist. It meets hardness with gentle acceptance, not with opposing force. It teaches us that the first step to overcoming is not to brace, but to yield. Consider this: water is fluid, shapeless. It takes the form of whatever contains it, a cup, a vase, a vast ocean basin. It does not cling to one identity, one form. This is a profound lesson in adaptability. Life rarely conforms to our rigid expectations or plans. To be like water is to be willing to change, to adjust, to fit the new circumstances we find ourselves in. This adaptability isn't weakness, it's intelligent survival. When you encounter an obstacle, the rigid approach is to try and force it to move. The water approach is to flow around it, over it, or even with time through it. Think about how this applies to your own challenges. Where are you trying to force an outcome, when perhaps adapting your approach would be more effective? Lao Tzu noted, "The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things in the world." Water, which is fluid and yielding, can, over time, wear away the hardest stone. This isn't through brute strength in a single moment, but through persistent, gentle action. This is the power of consistent flexibility. This idea of softness overcoming hardness challenges our conventional notions of power. We are taught to be strong, to be firm. But how often does that firmness become brittleness? How often does our unyielding stance lead us to snap under pressure, rather than bend and recover? Water shows us another way. Being like water means embracing humility. Water naturally seeks the lowest ground. It does not strive for prominence or fight for the highest position. Yet in seeking the lowest point, it gathers, it accumulates, and it becomes a vast and powerful force, like the ocean. There's immense strength in this seeming humility. How does this translate to our lives? It means not always needing to be right, not always needing to win the argument, not always needing to be the one in charge. Sometimes, yielding a point or taking a less prominent role allows for greater harmony and, paradoxically, a more influential presence in the long run. Water is also incredibly persistent. A river doesn't stop when it meets a mountain. It finds a way around or carves a canyon through it over millennia. This unwavering persistence, combined with its flexibility, is what makes it truly unstoppable. It doesn't give up, it adapts its path. Think of a goal you're pursuing. Are there obstacles making you want to quit? Ask yourself, how can I be like water here? Can I adapt my strategy, find a new angle, or simply persist with gentle, consistent effort rather than trying to bulldoze through? The water-like approach is about continuous movement, however small. Water is formless, yet it can fill any form. This means it has infinite potential. When you release rigid ideas about who you are or how things must be, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities for growth and action. You are not defined by one role, one setback, or one success. You are adaptable. This formlessness also speaks to non-attachment. Water flows. It doesn't cling. When we cling too tightly to outcomes, to possessions, to identities, we create suffering for ourselves when things inevitably change. Being like water means practicing the art of letting go, of allowing things to flow through our lives without desperate grasping. Consider the power of stillness in water. When water is still, it becomes clear. You can see to its depths. When our minds are agitated, chaotic, and turbulent like a stormy sea, we lose clarity. But if we can cultivate inner stillness like a calm lake, we gain profound insight and understanding. This stillness is not emptiness. It's a state of deep awareness. From this calm center, we can respond to life's challenges with wisdom and precision, rather than reacting impulsively from a place of turmoil. Cultivating moments of inner quiet, like water settling, is essential to harness this power. Water in its movement always finds the path of least resistance, yet it still reaches its destination, the sea. This isn't laziness, it's efficiency. It doesn't waste energy fighting unnecessary battles. It conserves its strength for the journey. How much energy do we waste by choosing the path of most resistance? This principle encourages us to look for smarter, not harder, ways to achieve our goals. It asks us to be observant, to see where the openings are, rather than just charging headlong into the most obvious and often most difficult path. It's about strategic yielding and intelligent navigation. And what of water's power? While it is soft, its collective force is immense. A gentle stream can become a mighty river, capable of carving landscapes and shaping continents. This reminds us that consistent, flexible actions, accumulated over time, lead to profound and unstoppable results. The power of water is not aggressive, it's pervasive and inevitable. It doesn't announce its arrival with a roar unless it's a storm. More often, its influence is subtle, gradual, but ultimately transformative. Your own flexible approach can be similarly quietly powerful, changing your circumstances from within. Being like water means understanding that there are times for action and times for stillness. Water can rush powerfully, but it can also be perfectly calm. Wisdom lies in discerning which quality is needed in any given situation. It's not about being passive always, but about choosing the right mode of being. Rigidity, on the other hand, knows only one mode: force. When that force meets a greater force or an immovable object, it shatters. Think of brittle glass. It cannot bend, so it breaks. This is often what happens to our plans, our expectations, even our spirits when we are too inflexible. When you feel yourself tensing up, becoming defensive or argumentative, that's a sign of rigidity. That's the moment to pause and ask, how can I be like water here? Can I soften my stance? Can I listen more openly? Can I find a point of agreement or a different way to approach this? Water also has a cleansing property. It washes away impurities. Similarly, a flexible mind can let go of grudges, resentments, and outdated beliefs that cloud our judgment and weigh us down. It allows for a fresh perspective, a clean slate from which to operate. This cleansing is not just about the past. It's also about clearing the mental clutter of the present. When we are overwhelmed, our thoughts can become muddy, like disturbed water. Finding that stillness, that water-like calm, allows the sediment of our worries to settle, bringing clarity. Furthermore, water nourishes life. All living things depend on it. When we embody the qualities of water, flexibility, adaptability, gentleness, we often have a more positive, nourishing effect on the people and situations around us. We become a source of calm and support rather than conflict. Lao Tzu emphasized that water benefits all things and does not compete with them. This is the spirit of true cooperation and service. When you approach life with this mindset, you reduce friction and build alliances. You become part of a larger flow, rather than an isolated force struggling alone. This contrasts sharply with a competitive, rigid mindset that sees every interaction as a win-lose scenario. Such a mindset creates constant struggle. The water approach seeks win-win outcomes, or at least, ways to navigate differences without destructive conflict. It seeks harmony. Think about unexpected changes in your day, a canceled appointment, a sudden problem at work. Your initial reaction might be frustration, a rigid resistance to this disruption. But what if you met it like water? How could you adapt? What new opportunity might this unexpected change present? The phrase "go with the flow" is often misunderstood as being passive or aimless. But in the context of Lao Tzu's wisdom, it means aligning yourself with the natural unfolding of events, using your energy wisely, and adapting your course as needed to continue moving towards your deeper purpose, like a river to the sea. Being like water doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. Even the vast ocean has shores. It means your boundaries are flexible and responsive, not brittle walls. You can be clear about your needs and limits without becoming aggressive or rigid when they are tested. When criticism or negativity comes your way, imagine it as a stone thrown into a deep pool. A rigid surface would be damaged, but water absorbs the impact, ripples for a moment, and then returns to stillness. Can you allow negativity to pass through you without letting it define or break your inner peace? The strength of water is also in its depth. A shallow puddle is easily disturbed and quick to evaporate. A deep lake holds vast reserves and maintains its temperature even when the surface is troubled. Cultivating inner depth through reflection, learning, and self-awareness gives you greater resilience. This depth allows you to weather life's storms. When external circumstances are chaotic, your inner depth provides an anchor, a place of calm and stability from which to navigate. You are not easily swayed or thrown off course because your roots, or rather your depths, run deep. Rigidity often stems from fear, fear of losing control, fear of the unknown, fear of failure. Flexibility, born from trust in your ability to adapt, is the antidote to this fear. It allows you to step into uncertainty with curiosity and confidence, rather than apprehension. When you are like water, you understand that failure is merely feedback. It's an indicator that you need to adjust your course, not that you are defeated. Water doesn't fail when it meets a dam. It simply builds up or finds another way. This mindset makes you truly unstoppable. Consider the sheer, quiet power of ice water in another form. It can expand and break rock, yet it can also melt and flow again. This shows that even in moments where firmness is required, it should be a chosen state, adaptable, not a permanent, brittle condition. In negotiations or disagreements, the water approach involves listening deeply, understanding the other's shape or perspective, and then finding ways to flow together towards a solution, rather than clashing like rocks. It's about seeking common ground, the lowest point where connection can happen. Being like water allows for effortless action. When you are not fighting reality, not resisting what is, you conserve immense energy. This energy can then be directed purposefully. Flowing with the current, even as you steer, is far less exhausting than constantly swimming upstream against it. This doesn't mean you never face difficulties. Water encounters many obstacles, but its nature is to keep moving, to keep seeking its level, to keep flowing towards the vastness of the ocean. Your challenges are part of your path, not impenetrable barriers if you adopt this fluid approach. Lao Tzu said, "Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it." This paradox is the heart of its power. Its gentleness is its strength. Its ability to yield is what makes it indomitable. Embracing this paradox in your own life can unlock incredible resilience. Think about your communication. Are your words like hard stones, creating conflict? Or can they be like water, gently persuasive, able to seep into understanding, to soothe and connect? Flexible communication adapts to the listener, finding ways to be heard without aggression. Even in creativity, being like water is powerful. Rigidly adhering to one idea can block inspiration, but allowing your thoughts to flow, to take unexpected turns, to combine in new ways, This fluid approach often leads to the most profound breakthroughs and innovative solutions. The highest good is like water, Lao Tzu suggests. It benefits the 10,000 things and does not contend. It dwells in places that people disdain. This moral dimension of water teaches us about selfless service and finding value in humility, traits that lead to deep respect and influence. When you find yourself overwhelmed by too many tasks or demands, remember water's ability to separate and focus. A river might branch into many streams, each navigating its own path, yet all part of the same flow. Can you address one thing at a time with fluid attention rather than feeling scattered? Water is patient. It took eons for rivers to carve canyons. This patience is a crucial aspect of being unstoppable. Not all obstacles yield quickly. Some require sustained, gentle, flexible effort over a long period. Cultivating this patience prevents burnout and keeps you moving forward. The transparency of clear water allows light to pass through it, revealing what lies beneath and illuminating its surroundings. When you cultivate transparency in your intentions and actions, being honest and open, you build trust and reduce misunderstanding, much like clear water allows for clarity. Rigidity often comes from an attachment to a specific outcome. It has to be this way. Water has an ultimate destination, the ocean, but it is infinitely flexible about the path it takes to get there. Can you hold your ultimate goals loosely while being highly adaptable in your methods? Water can also be a mirror. In its stillness, it reflects the world around it accurately. When your mind is calm and flexible, you can see situations and yourself more clearly without the distortions of ego or fear. This accurate reflection is vital for wise action. This reflection is not just passive. By seeing clearly, you can then choose how to engage, how to flow, how to adapt in the most effective way. The mirror of water gives you the information you need to navigate, rather than blundering forward based on distorted perceptions. So how do we begin to cultivate this water-like nature in our daily lives? It starts with awareness. Notice when you feel yourself becoming rigid, resistant, or brittle. In arguments, in frustrating situations, when plans go awry, these are your cues. In those moments of recognized rigidity, take a pause. Just like allowing muddy water to settle, give your mind a moment to become still. A conscious breath can be enough to interrupt the reactive pattern and create space for a more fluid response. Then consciously choose flexibility. Ask yourself, what would water do here? Would it crash or would it flow around? What is the path of least resistance that still moves me forward? This question can shift your entire approach. Practice yielding in small ways. Let someone else go first. Don't insist on the last word. Choose to understand rather than to win. These small acts of yielding build the muscle of flexibility, making it easier to apply in bigger challenges. It's about letting go of the need to control every minor outcome. Embrace impermanence. Like water, life is constantly flowing and changing. Resisting change is like trying to hold water in a clenched fist, futile and frustrating. Accepting that all things are in flux allows you to adapt more gracefully and with less suffering. Cultivate curiosity instead of judgment when faced with the new or unexpected. Water explores every crevice. A curious mind is open to new possibilities and solutions that a rigid, judgmental mind would miss. Ask what if, or how else could this be? Practice mindfulness of your body. Tension is often the first sign of resistance. Learn to notice where you hold tension, jaw, shoulders, stomach. Consciously soften these areas, like allowing ice to melt back into water. This physical softening can lead to mental and emotional flexibility. Remember, being like water is not about being a pushover. Water can be incredibly powerful. It's about choosing when and how to apply your strength. It's the difference between a sledgehammer and a flowing river. Both can move mountains, but one does so with more grace and sustainability. This journey to becoming like water is a continuous practice, not a one-time fix. Each day offers opportunities to choose flexibility over rigidity, flow over resistance. Be patient with yourself as you learn and grow in this way. Every small adaptation strengthens your capacity. The promise is profound. By embodying these qualities, you become more resilient, more effective, and yes, in a very real sense, unstoppable. Not because you can overcome every obstacle with force, but because no obstacle can ultimately halt your adaptive, persistent flow. You learn to navigate the currents of life with skill and ease. You find strength in softness, power in yielding, and freedom in adaptability. The struggles that once seemed like insurmountable walls begin to look like mere rocks in a stream, challenges to be navigated, not barriers to your progress. The wisdom of Lao Tzu to be like water is not just an abstract philosophy. It is a practical guide to living with greater peace, effectiveness, and an unshakable inner strength. It invites a profound shift in how we meet the world, from a stance of resistance to one of graceful engagement. Consider the relief that comes from letting go of the need to control everything, from ceasing the exhausting battle against the current. Imagine the energy freed up, the clarity gained, when you allow yourself to flow with intelligence and adaptability. This is the lightness of being water-like. This flexibility also extends to your emotions. Water can be turbulent, then calm. Allowing your emotions to flow through you without getting stuck, acknowledging them, feeling them, and letting them pass, is healthier than suppressing them or letting them rage uncontrollably. When you are like water, you become a more peaceful presence for others too. Your calm adaptability can de-escalate tension in difficult situations, much like a gentle rain can settle dust. Your non-contentious nature creates space for understanding and connection. The world is full of sharp edges, rigid structures, and unexpected blockades. By cultivating a water-like essence, you develop the capacity to move through this world without being constantly bruised or broken. You learn to soften your own edges, to find the spaces in between. Remember, being unstoppable isn't about never falling. It's about always finding a way to get back up, to reform, to continue. Water, even when dispersed into mist, eventually gathers again. This resilience is inherent in its nature, and it can be inherent in yours. So the core message is this: true strength lies not in unyielding rock, but in ever-flowing water. Embrace flexibility, practice adaptability, cultivate persistence, and you will discover an inner power that allows you to navigate any challenge, to flow around any obstacle, and to continue your journey unstoppable. Let this wisdom seep into your awareness. Observe water in nature in your daily life. See its qualities, and then gently begin to emulate them. Let the principle of be like water become a quiet guide, a source of calm strength in your moments of challenge and decision. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the image of water, always yielding, yet always conquering, always changing, yet always itself. May you find its profound flexibility within you, and through it, may you discover just how truly unstoppable you can be.